If you can hear this recording, there are 4 minutes until the bombs drop. Please remain calm and seek the shelter. Honestly, could you imagine if they gave me the job to announce that? That'd be properly scaly, wouldn't it? But this is indeed a recording. I'm Marc Steele, by the way. Thanks for joining me for A Wee Natter, the radio show. I've usually got Jenny with me as well, but unfortunately, for either a technical fault, we've let a gremlin in and have managed to do some damage, or because we're away on holiday or something like that, then we can't do a live show, so this is playing out instead. I've got it all set up. I've got my long play recording going, and I've got a 10-year-old kid all set up to program the VCR so it plays out at the right time on Sunday evening. I'm kind of hoping that that's worked out. I'm kind of hoping I've picked the right 10-year-old to do this. We'll find out the hard way. But because it's not because this is a recording, this is not a live show, we would normally be talking about, we're going to do the postbag next, where we've asked you a question and you give us your answers to that. Well, we won't be doing that, but we will be talking about receiving messages from places that, quite frankly, you'd never expect to hear them. I'll explain what it's all about after the Stone Roses and She Bangs the Drum on A Wee Natter. Off to Mankland where the Stone Roses, She Bangs the Drum. It's A Wee Natter on Bow Radio and Faction Town Radio 2. I'm Marc, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying this fine. I'm assuming it's still a Sunday evening. This is a tape recording. I've got a little kid to program the machine on, and hopefully it's playing out at the right time. Otherwise, you're going to be watching, I think it's Frozen that's on the back end of the tape. You'll find out the hard way. But I don't want to sound like a complete and utter fruit and nut job here, but I want to talk about communicating with aliens. I know what you're thinking, but there's a reason I bring it up, and it's not because I've been watching the History Channel on the telly or anything like that. They've got a weird obsession with aliens. I don't know what it is, but somebody mentioned the other day a thing that I've not heard mentioned in, it must be 20 years or so. Have you ever heard of the SETI program and the thing that he did for a while called SETI at Home? Yeah, don't look at me weird like that. SETI was a whole thing where they were out for search for extraterrestrial intelligence. They were scanning around the sky looking for signs of alien intelligence out there to prove that we're not alone in the universe. Because it'd be kind of weird if we were the only people in the universe, wouldn't it? It'd be kind of scary. It'd be kind of strange. And if I remember correctly, going back to 1970 or something, they did find the WOW signal or whatever it's called. But the thing that they did for a little while was you could give up some of the time on your computer, when you had the screensaver on and you weren't using it to browse gentleman's literature on the internet, or whatever it is that you have to browse on the internet, social media nowadays. It would use your computer to process the signals and maybe find some aliens. Could you imagine if your computer found those aliens? How would you deal with it? Do you get a phone number that pops out the side of your computer or something like that, and you got to give them a ring going, "Hey up, yeah. No, I'm just down in England at the moment. No, you didn't want to come down here. No, it's too wet, it's too cold. No, you don't want to do that." And also, if you did phone them up, would you just talk about the weather? It's a very British thing, isn't it? Well, we probably would, wouldn't we? Proving that all you got to do is add a little bit of French and the song suddenly sounds a hell lot classier. Lady Gaga, Bad Romance on A Wee Natter. I'm Marc, by the way. Hopefully you're having a grand evening. And this is going to sound a bit strange, but I was in the pub, right? And one of the things that you find in a pub nowadays, because they're being all friendly for families and things like that, you find the dogs. And, I'm getting used to the dogs being there in pubs, but you also seem to get a lot of children. And not just the children. Along with the children will be a tablet or mobile phone where they're watching a TV show, usually something really, really annoying like Peppa Pig or something like that. The moment you hear it, it winds up. You're getting to the point where either the kid or the tablet's going to get smashed. So you have to get out of there before something bad happens. But I was thinking when I was seeing that happening, that, when I was a kid, I would never have got away with watching a TV show on a tablet, A, because it didn't exist, but B, because it annoyed the living hell out of everyone that's around us. You know, I would not have been allowed to have it, or if I did have it, it would have had to be with headphones on. And what's with people nowadays with the mobile phones, and they walk around taking a phone call, not using the phone like an actual phone, like put it to your ear and things like that. They'll hold it in front of them, and then they'll shout into it. And you can hear both sides of the conversation. And they don't like it when you chip in and you go, sorry about that, sir. It turns out you've got a problem with your prostate. You're sounding like a doctor. And they don't like it when you join in. It's funny like that. But it got me thinking, you know, back to when I was a kid and the things that I was not allowed to do but my friends were. And a couple of things brought to mind, like, you know those breakfast cereals? You know, all the sweet ones with the sugar and the chocolate and all the things like that. I was never allowed to eat that stuff. Oh, no, not healthy enough. It was plain, I'm not making this up, it was plain Rice Krispies, cornflakes, you name it, whatever it was plain. Even things like muesli occasionally, and that was variety when we got that. And also, when I was growing up, there was, you know, the kids are watching the tablets nowadays and watching the TV shows they want to as loud as they like to. In my day, I was only allowed to watch stuff that was on the BBC when I was a really young kid. Yeah, no ITV in the house when I was young. And definitely nothing military in terms of games, you know, no swords, no guns, nothing like that. And the even more depressing bit was when it came to fast food. Remember that whole BSE thing? Admittedly, we're going back quite a bit here, but you remember that whole BSE thing? Yeah, guess who wasn't allowed to eat beef, whether it's in burgers or steaks or anything like that, until they left home? Yeah, hands up. What was your childhood like? I'd ask you to join in, but this is a recording, so I'll get your answer in a few months' time. Fairly chilled out from Sam Brown, Stop, and before that, Bananarama professing their love for Chewbacca, and I Want You Back. Yeah, that was dreadful, wasn't it? Maybe we should move on very quickly.
Covers versus originals.
This is a bit of the show where normally I'd be putting you in charge and making you make a difficult decision, but this time round, the difficult decision will be mine when I've got to choose between the cover version and the original version. And the whole reason that I can't get you to do it this time round is because this is a tape recording. And I haven't figured out how to change tape recordings once you've made them. So I'll have to make the decision. Sorry about that. So this week I am choosing between John Michael Montgomery's version of I Swear and All For One's version of I Swear. Yeah, you might not even have known that was a cover. And there was an original version of it as well. You may went, I thought All For One did the only version of it. No, John Michael Montgomery did as well. And it was very country and western. But which one's going to play? Well, you'll find out fairly soon. I'd normally tell you to ring in at this point, but you'd be calling a tape recording, and from my experience calling up customer service, it doesn't go well. Here you go. I'm not going to make you feel old by telling you how old this song by the Primitives, Crash, is. Yes, for the whole feeling old thing. And secondly, because I don't know when you might be listening to this. You might be listening to this just after I recorded it, or you might be listening to it after the zombie apocalypse in 2048.
Covers versus originals.
And I've kind of let the cat out of the bag. I wasn't supposed to mention the zombie apocalypse in 2048. It's supposed to be a secret, because it would be giving away that somebody's figured out time travel. So I'm not supposed to know that happens. You're not supposed to know it happened anyway. So we'll move on very quickly to the bit where normally I'd be asking you to pick between the cover version, which is All For One, I Swear, or the original version of a song, which is John Michael Montgomery, there's a mouthful, with I Swear. But which one's going to play? Don't bother calling in, because this is a tape recording, but if you wish to find out which one it is, then you'll find out after a bit of Newton Faulkner and Dream Catch Me. It's A Wee Natter on Bow Radio. Bit of a one-hit wonder for Newton Faulkner, Dream Catch Me. I'm Marc, by the way. Thanks for joining me this evening. It's A Wee Natter on Bow Radio and Fatcham Town Radio too. I hope you're having a good one. And if you're wondering why you're getting in touch, and I'm not being very interactive, you're thinking, oh, Marc's being rude, then the reason for it is simple. I had quite a little chat with Jenny. We were having a nice little meal. Here's pasta, which means the music fits as well. But alas, it turns out she occasionally wants to go on holiday. So instead, you are getting a tape-recorded show. But it doesn't mean that we don't do the normal things, and we'll be finding out what the winner is of Covers versus Originals in just a moment.
Bo Radio would like...
Versus Originals.
It's the part of the show where normally you would be the one making a difficult decision, but because this is a tape recording and I haven't figured out how to change the past yet, I can change the future. Anyone can change the future. Changing the past is a lot more difficult. I'm going to have to make the decision for you, dear listener. I'm going to take this burden on my shoulders and choose between the cover that was All for One's version of I Swear, or going a bit more country with John Michael Montgomery and his version of I Swear. Which one's the winner? I had to go for John Michael Montgomery as, of course, it's a cracker. And after this, we'll be chatting about, well, Biscuits and a change that I think we have to make to them. No, don't tune out. I know it's very cheesy local radio stuff and a bit Alan Partridge, but it's good, and I'll explain all after this. And a bit of Andreas Johnson as well. Here's a tough one. Name any other song by Andreas Johnson. Go on, I'll give you a moment. Yeah, have a proper route around that, brain. See what you could come up with. No, keep digging. There's nothing there, is there? It's glorious. And before that, John Michael Montgomery, I Swear. And I did mention I was going to do something very cheesy local radio in terms of topic, but I'm going to touch on the world of biscuits. Whether it's your favourite digestive or a hobnob, or you're one of those weirdos that likes fig rolls. Why do you even sell it? It's the 2020s. Nobody wants a fig roll in their life, but they're still there on the shelves. I swear, the actual apocalypse will happen and they'll still be there on those shelves waiting for somebody to want to buy them. But the problem I've got with biscuits is not that they're bad biscuits, because everyone has a favourite. Everyone has ones that they, all right, I'll eat it. And everyone has biscuits where it's like, no, that's not for me. The problem is, if you buy a pack of biscuits and it's biscuits you like, right? You open them, you eat one biscuit. You're like, oh, no, that's nice. But one biscuit hasn't quite done the job. So you go for a second one, and then maybe a third one, maybe a fourth one. And before you know it, the entire packet has mysteriously disappeared. It's proper strange stuff. But I'm one of those people where I don't just come with problems, because my bosses kept telling me off, Mark, you can't just come with problems. You got to come with some solutions as well. So the solution I've got to the problem of biscuits being too addictive is like every third biscuit in the packet, make it a bitter one. Then you won't eat the whole packet in one go, will you? Because it'd feel weird having to throw the extras out. Going back. The script and the man who can't be moved. And talking about moving, I just got a memory flashing through, and the only way I can describe the memory is with this song. That I'm mourning the loss of after a bit of Coldplay, and this one from Duran Duran is Girls on Film on A Wee Natter from Bow Radio and Fatcham Town Radio 2. I'm Marc, by the way. Thanks for joining me this fine evening. Coldplay, Adventure of a Lifetime, and in what I could describe as anything but an adventure, my missus has got, or Jenny, sorry, I should call her Jenny, that's her name, has got a bench that sits outside our house, and it's been out there for a little while now. It needs a bit of love and attention. So I need a bit of sanding down, I got a bit of sandpaper, needs a bit of painting. I don't have any paint. So we go, all right, let's head into town, we'll go get some paint. So we turn up to the town centre and start to walk up to where there should have been a Wilco's, and then it dawns on us that unfortunately it is no longer with us. We took a moment to mourn. And if you're suggesting we should have gone to the pound shops, let me tell you, A, nothing's a pound in there anymore, and B, you've got no hope of finding the thing you actually need in there. So, After taking our moment to mourn the loss from the high street, yeah, we just got in the car and went to B&Q, but it's a pain in the backside, isn't it? The high street, it was useful. Wilco was useful. But alas, things must move on, mustn't they? There's a song you don't hear every day of the week. Empire of the Sun, We Are the People. I'm playing it for you on A Wee Natter. I'm Marc, by the way. Thanks for joining me this fine evening on Bo Radio or Fatcham Town Radio. And in case you're wondering why I'm being my usual interactive self, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not seeing all your messages coming in and going, no, or know what? No, I'm not going to read them, go away. It's because this is a tape recording. Yeah, I've set it up the long played recorder. It's here to cover in case there's holidays or technical faults or anything like that. Hopefully it plays out because I'm relying on a 10-year-old kid setting the timer on the tape recorder correctly. If they haven't done it correctly, I'll have to fire them, and I'd hate to do it on the run up to Christmas, which is any time in 12 months before Christmas, isn't it? Anyway, in just a second, we will doing some of the usual stuff we normally do, including musical freedom. I can't believe I'm tripping over the name when I was the one that came up with it. After this one from Tom Petty, he's free falling. One of the dangers of working from home, if you can call this working, is that your cat will come and join you and declare their love for Tom Petty by crawling all over your lap and the equipment and things like that you're using to play Tom Petty on this fine radio show. It's A Wee Natter from Bo Radio, Fatcham Town Radio 2. I'm Marc, by the way. Thanks for joining me this fine Sunday evening. And now that I've finished Tom Petty, the cat has decided, you know what, screw it, I'm off.
Mission Musical Freedom.
I'm not even joking about that. I bet she is literally just cleared off my lap right now. But anyway, Mission Musical Freedom. It's that thing where the downside with radio stations, they're fantastic, but they're kind of limited in the songs they play. And that's usually because the bosses want to make sure when you tune in, you only hear your favourite songs. You don't want to be hanging around listening to songs that are just like, yeah, I'm not 100% on that one. The downside is you end up with a playlist that's about as long as a now that's what I call music CD. And there's a whole bunch of songs that you never get to hear on the wireless. We want to fix that. We're going to sneak some songs past the boss, and we do one every week. Yeah, including this week, where I'm going to sneak past a bit of yodeling. No, seriously, this song has an alarming amount of yodeling in it, but it's a fantastic rock song that you never, ever, ever get to hear. From Focus, it's Hocus Pocus on A Wee Natter. Enjoy. Music you can dance along to by Mojo, Lady Hear Me Tonight. And before that, music you can yodel along to, Focus and Hocus Pocus. It's A Wee Natter. I'm Marc. Thanks for joining me this fine evening.
The Super Shonky Sunday Quiz.
A Wee Natter with Jenny and Marc Steele on Bo Radio.
Yes, it's the quiz that is so cerebral. It's got one question and, well, so top quality, so high budget, there are no prizes other than you get to hear if you get the correct answer or if you're as good as I am. Although, because this is a tape recording, I don't know what answers you're going to get and whether you got them right or not. So you only listen to if you genuinely got the answer right. Otherwise, you only get to listen to... I'm going to have to trust you on this one, dear listener. But anyway, the question you got to figure out tonight. What is the smallest planet in our solar system? You might have an answer that's jumping into mind. You might go in, oh, well, there's a technicality. Does that count as a planet? There is a definite answer to this one. What is the smallest planet in our solar system? If you think you know, hold on to that answer, and I'll tell you what the answer actually is after this one from Foreigner, Waiting for a Girl Like You on A Wee Natter. No, wait, you aren't waiting for a girl on A Wee Natter, but we're playing the song on A Wee Natter. You know what I mean. Something tells me you might not have been the first person they said that to. Someone gives it away. Waiting for a Girl Like You, it's Foreigner on A Wee Natter.
The Super Shonky Sunday Quiz.
A Wee Natter with Jenny and Marc Steele on Bo Radio.
How you doing with a little quiz question? Are you going to get... Or are you going to get a... what sounds like a very simple little question, but you might be barking up the wrong tree on it. What is the smallest planet in our solar system? If you think you know, hold on for just one more song, and I will promise I definitely will be giving you the answer after this one from Liam Gallagher. Yeah, the Gallagher brothers. Who would have ever thought to get back together, eh? It's Wall of Glass on A Wee Natter from Bow Radio and Fashion Town Radio 2. Kind of blows my mind we had to wait until 2017 to get some solo work from Liam Gallagher.
Bow Radio would like to thank
The Super Shonky Sunday Quiz.
A Wee Natter with Jenny and Marc Steele on Bow Radio.
How you doing with our deceptively simple sounding question? What is the smallest planet in the solar system? Now, if your answer was Pluto, you'd be... Not just because it's no longer a planet, but it was never the smallest planet anyway. The smallest planet in the solar system, and for you to get you had to give me the answer, Mercury. Well done if you managed to get that right. And I'm sure you've heard the phrase, if looks could kill. Well, I've seen something where if looks could make you boak. Find out what that's all about after the Gorillas, and this one from The Cure is Close to Me on A Wee Natter from Bow Radio and Fashion Town Radio 2. Oh, I'm Marc, by the way. Hope you're having a good one this fine evening. You'd have thought this song would be called Get the Cool Shoe Shine, but that's way too obvious. The Gorillas had to go with 192000. It's Wee Natter, I'm Marc, by the way. And if looks could kill, yes, we all know that phrase, but I've seen something that I can only describe if looks could make you boak. And it's a new statue. Well, it might not be new. You might be listening to this in 2030 and it's not new at that point, but a new statue of Queen Elizabeth II has been unveiled in Northern Ireland. It stands next to a statue of Prince Philip and their two corgis. It was created by an artist from Belfast and unveiled in Antrim Castle Gardens. Now, if you were to look at a picture of this statue, the way you would describe it is, it's like somebody described what the Queen looked like from vague memories of having seen her on the telly about 30 years ago down the phone line to the artist. It looks absolutely nothing like the Queen that's passed. It's unreal, isn't it? Although I guess, you know, if you're kind of royalty or something, you're somebody very important and they're creating statues for you, it's got to be weird to look at a statue that actually looks like you. I guess you kind of want a statue that looked a little bit off, so you're like, oh, no, it definitely looks like art. That's not me they've created there, even though it has my name on a plaque.
Come here, baby.
Cracking wee song from Aerosmith, Crazy. It's A Wee Natter on Bow Radio, Fashion Town Radio 2. I'm Marc, by the way. Thanks for joining me this fine evening. Hope you're having a good one. And, well, I hate to bring the tone down, but there's something that I was kind of glad disappeared over COVID, but all these years later is slowly creeping back into reality and becoming a scourge again. Find out what I'm on about after this one from Kelly Clarkson. It's Breakaway on A Wee Natter. Kind of bonkers to think you go back to 2004 for that one. Kelly Clarkson and Breakaway. And talking about a scourge that's come back. Not Kelly Clarkson, by the way. I'm assuming her career's still chugging along quite nicely, actually. But one of the things that disappeared over COVID was people chapping on your door. Whether it was for charity or to sell you something or whatever it is, kind of disappeared. We're a number of years later now, it's slowly creeping back. And the one that keeps knocking on my door at the moment is about charities. And every time it's a different charity, it's supposed to tug on your heartstrings and get you to give up that cold, hard cash. And if I'm going to give up my cash, I'm going to be the one that chooses who to give it away to. And I'm going to choose when. I'm not going to do it just because somebody knocked on my door. I'm not going to give in like that. Okay, if you keep badgering, I might give in, but otherwise it won't happen. Although the really weird one that we've been getting a lot of around here, I can't get my head around. It's turned into like a proper turf war thing, is milkmen looking to offer around. And I'm thinking, okay, right, A, who's getting milk delivered in the 2020s? And B, it's a front. No, genuinely, seriously, it's a front for the birds who want to sneak down. When it's cold weather, And the milk expands and it gets all frosty and the top pops off and they start nicking the milk. It's all the birds. They want me to pay for it and to give them free milk. I know what they're up to.
Just don't let me down.
The Cooks with Naive, and before that, Snap saying Rhythm is a dancer. That's about it for A Wee Natter, unfortunately. We will be back next week, unless that 4-minute warning at the start of the show was genuine, and then I just have to ask, why are you listening to this? No, you should be getting prepared for the big zombie invasion that's going to happen, you know, from all the mutants because of all the nuclear radiation and things like that. But assuming that 4-minute warning wasn't real, then yeah, we should be back next week with you on this fine radio station, whether it's Bow Radio or Fatsham Town Radio. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave you with this classic Queen track, Las Palabras de Amor. It's the words of love. Catch you next time.